My family arranged a fiancé for me whom I'd never even met. I had to go back to China to meet her. I hadn't even stepped foot inside my house yet, before dragging a friend to a bar. Let me show you my future wife. In the dim light, I pulled my friend along, sneaking around, pretending to pass by behind her. Before I could even get a clear look at her face, I heard her talking to her friend next to her. What era does he think this is? The old man actually pulled this arranged marriage crap on me, trying to make me marry some guy I've never even seen. His family background, personality, looks, doesn't matter. Marrying him? Not even a dog would marry him. Just then, her friend leisurely held my photo up to her face. You might want to rethink that. My fiancé, by Giro, froze when she saw it. Then her tone did a complete 180. Marry a dog? What kind of dog? Like I'd marry a dog. If I can marry Mr. Lin, it's not a total loss. Bai Jiro's face changed way too fast. Gu Zihao, who was crouching with me eavesdropping, couldn't help it. He snorted with laughter. The sound reached Bai Jiro, who was studying my photo on her phone. By the time Gu Zihao reacted and covered his mouth, Bai Jiro was already frowning and turning around, locking eyes with Gu Zihao. She seemed a bit surprised. Mr. Gu? What are you doing here? Gu Zihao froze for a second, showing zero embarrassment at being caught. But instead, under Bai Jiro's gaze, he straightened up defiantly. He lowered his hand from his mouth, cocked an eyebrow at her, and said, "What? Can't I come to pick up women?" While he was talking to Bai Jiro, and she hadn't noticed me yet, I silently shuffled a few steps to the side, to observe this fiancé I was meeting for the first time. Deep-set eyes, sharp features. That face was pretty good-looking, her ears turning redder and redder. She started muttering to herself, as if forgetting I was there. Hee hee, her voice calling hubby is so nice. Her hands look so soft too. Hee hee hee, this wipe touched her hand. Must smell like her now. I'll take it home and treasure it. My mind filled with question marks. Did she accidentally voice her thoughts out loud? Kinda cute, though. Bai Jiro, what are you saying? I spoke up at the right moment. Bai Jiro snapped back to reality, frozen in place, pupils shaking. When she didn't respond, I blinked innocently, and called her name again. Bai Jiro? Then I saw her turn her head stiffly, inch by inch, towards me. Now it wasn't just her ears. Her whole face was turning bright red, like she was hypnotizing herself. She raised her hand and waved it in front of my eyes. Lin Mo, be a good boy. You didn't hear anything just now. Didn't hear a thing. How is she getting cuter? I stood up with a smile, giving her an out. I frowned, pretending my hearing was bad. Huh? Didn't really catch anything just now. I'm heading home. Did you arrange to meet someone here? Bai Jiro immediately stood up too. No. I was just passing by. I'll drive you. This time, I didn't refuse. I followed her out. As I bent down to grab my bag, I noticed she actually kept her word, surreptitiously folding the wet wipe she'd used on my hand into a neat little square and tucking it into her pocket. She also tossed that ironically fitting green cap straight into the trash bin. Soon, she pulled up in front of my apartment building. After thanking her, I moved to get out. Bai Jiro cleared her throat tentatively. It's been really dry lately. Huh. Forgot to grab a coffee back at the cafe. Kinda thirsty now. Haha, some water would be great. Water for this thirst. Wonder where to find some. She stared straight ahead, sounding a bit flustered, not daring to look at me. I knew exactly what she wanted. I chuckled. Well. Before I could finish, Bai Jiro jumped in. Yes, I'll come up, just for some water. I've got time. Bai Jiro eagerly turned towards me. I suddenly felt like messing with her. Looking at her, I blinked innocently. Bai Jiro, what I meant was, you could grab a bottle of water at the convenience store up ahead? Only like 100 meters. You'll see it as soon as you step out. Sorry, the elders are home today. Really wouldn't be convenient to invite you up. Bai Jiro froze for a second. Okay, she said flatly, quickly turning back to face the front, pretending it was fine. Got it. Go on up. Only her increasingly red ears betrayed her inner turmoil. I didn't say anything else, just smiled, got out, and went home. That evening, I heard from my parents that we were visiting the Bai family tomorrow. The elders from both families wanted to discuss mine and Bai Jiro's wedding arrangements, and tucking it into her pocket, she also tossed that ironically fitting green cap straight into the trash bin. Soon, she pulled up in front of my apartment building. After thanking her, I moved to get out. Bai Jiro cleared her throat tentatively. It's been really dry lately. Huh. Forgot to grab a coffee back at the cafe. Kinda thirsty now. Haha. Some water would be great. Water for this thirst. Wonder where to find some. She stared straight ahead, sounding a bit flustered, not daring to look at me. I knew exactly what she wanted. I chuckled. Well. Before I could finish, Bai Jiro jumped in. Yes, I'll come up, just for some water. I've got time. Bai Jiro eagerly turned towards me. I suddenly felt like messing with her. Looking at her, I blinked innocently. Bai Jiro, what I meant was, you could grab a bottle of water at the convenience store up ahead? Only like 100 meters. You'll see it as soon as you step out. Sorry, the elders are home today. Really wouldn't be convenient to invite you up. Bai Jiro froze for a second. Okay, she said flatly, quickly turning back to face the front, pretending it was fine. Got it. Go on up. Only her increasingly red ears betrayed her inner turmoil. I didn't say anything else, just smiled, got out, and went home. That evening, I heard from my parents that we were visiting the Bai family tomorrow. The elders from both families wanted to discuss mine and Bai Jiro's wedding arrangements. Your mom and I have something to discuss. Can't get away right now. I didn't immediately agree, but glanced questioningly at my parents. My parents instantly looked away, avoiding my gaze, refusing to make eye contact. Mom admired the stark white wall with genuine awe. Oh my. This wall. It's really wall light. Dad looked out the window. And that tree in the yard. So very tree light. I was speechless. Haha. The house is very house-like. You people are all unique talents. No choice. I silently agreed to Mrs. Bai and headed towards Bai Jiro's room upstairs. My toe had barely touched the first step when the elders exchanged glances, didn't even bother with an excuse, and vanished in a flash. I stood there dumbfounded, staring at the firmly closed front door. A few seconds later, I snorted with disbelief. Are they that desperate? Whatever. I'll go see what Bai Jiro's up to. Reaching Bai Jiro's room on the second floor, I stood outside the door, raised my hand to knock, but the door seemed unlocked before I even touched it. As if sensing me, it swung open wide on its own. Bai Jiro was sitting on her bed, back to the door. Her hair was messy, a bit sleepy looking, clearly hadn't been up long. She was hunched over a laptop on her lap, typing away, no idea what she was doing. Her phone was tossed beside her, on speakerphone with a friend. She hadn't noticed the door was open, so I stood there in the doorway, forced to eavesdrop on their conversation. Honestly, I think he's playing me. After meeting him at the bar that day, I made my feelings super clear, but he just keeps dodging it. He won't agree, but won't outright reject me either. I feel like he's toying with me. A male voice came from the phone. Then grow a spine. He's just got a pretty face. What's the big deal if you call off the engagement? Listen to me. Just call it off for now. See if he panics. Bai Jiro was silent for a moment, seemed to make a decision. Right. Who does he think he is? Lin Mo. Just because I fell for him at first sight, I have to marry him? Playing me? Stringing me along? Bai Jiro declares right here, right now. Bai Jiro spoke while closing her laptop and setting it aside, grabbing her phone and standing up. Not sure what she planned to do, but as she turned, she came face to face with me standing in her doorway. I instantly curved my lips into a teasing smile. She froze on the spot, body rigid, not moving. The voice from the phone kept coming. Declare what? What declaration? Hey. Cat? Say something. Bai Jiro looked mortified. She flusteredly averted her eyes, pretended she didn't see me, turned back, and sat down on the bed again. Only then did she lift the phone to speak to the guy, her voice sounding a bit guilty. Mekha. Bai Jiro declares right here, right now. Lin Mo is ridiculously handsome. I did fall for him at first sight. I will marry him and no one else. However he wants to play me, even treat me like a dog, I'm down. After meeting him at the bar that day, I made my feelings super clear, but he just keeps dodging it. He won't agree, but won't outright reject me either. I feel like he's toying with me. A male voice came from the phone. Then grow a spine. He's just got a pretty face. What's the big deal if you call off the engagement? Listen to me. Just call it off for now. See if he panics. Bai Jiro was silent for a moment, seemed to make a decision. Right. Who does he think he is? Lin Mo. Just because I fell for him at first sight, I have to marry him? Playing me? Stringing me along? Bai Jiro declares right here, right now. Bai Jiro spoke while closing her laptop and setting it aside, grabbing her phone and standing up. Not sure what she planned to do, but as she turned, she came face to face with me standing in her doorway. I instantly curved my lips into a teasing smile. She froze on the spot, body rigid, not moving. The voice from the phone kept coming. Declare what? What declaration? Hey. Cat? Say something. Bai Jiro looked mortified. She flusteredly averted her eyes, pretended she didn't see me, turned back, and sat down on the bed again. Only then did she lift the phone to speak to the guy, her voice sounding a bit guilty. Mekha. Bai Jiro declares right here, right now. Lin Mo is ridiculously handsome. I did fall for him at first sight. I will marry him and no one else. However he wants to play me, even treat me like a dog, I'm down. Mrs. Bai's voice came through lazily. How could we tell you? Last time we just mentioned the engagement. You threatened to disown your dad. If we told you in advance, you'd have bolted before they arrived. I can't risk my plan failing. You and Mo had to meet today. Bai Jiro paused, exasperated, but didn't rush to explain. Instead, she pressed on. Well, I've met him now. Where are you? Mrs. Bai brushed her off. Oh dear, there's a little hiccup. With that joint project with the Lin Corp, the juniors can't handle it, so we took Mr. and Mrs. Lin to the company to sort it out. Total last minute thing. Anyway, when you young people meet, us old folks hovering around, just makes you uncomfortable. Perfect chance for you two to be alone at home. We'll be back tonight. Before Mrs. Bai finished, Mr. Bai's voice cut in. Brat, I'm warning you, you better take good care of Mo today. If you ditch her and run off, I'll end you. Bai Jiro rubbed her temples wearily. Dad, didn't I tell you? I accept the arranged marriage. I want to marry Lin Mo. Mr. Bai cut her off. Who believes your nonsense? I can tell just by thinking with my feet. You're just saying that to buy time, to trick me and your mom, so you can find a way to wreck this marriage later. You think I don't know your tricks? Enough. Stop ignoring Mo. Go talk to her. I'm hanging up. Bai Jiro was exasperated. Who told you to think with your feet? The call ended abruptly. Beep beep beep. Baijiro sighed. I suddenly looked away, pretending I hadn't heard anything. Baijiro put her phone away, was silent for a moment, then cautiously sat down beside me. The huge living room was now just the two of us. She seemed nervous. They said something came up with the company's joint project. They all went to the office. I nodded. I see. We fell silent again. A few minutes later, Baijiro tilted her head to look at me. Lin Mo, can you tell me what you really think about our engagement? She looked at me seriously, her voice low and husky, like she'd steeled herself to have it out. When I turned and met her eyes, for a split second, seeing how clearly she was laying herself bare, me pretending to be oblivious and stringing her along, suddenly felt pretty crappy. The moment our eyes met, a flicker of nervousness crossed Baijiro's eyes. It's okay. You don't have to answer right away. I can tell you how I feel first. She lowered her gaze, took a deep breath. When she looked up again, the affection in her eyes was unmistakable. Honestly, from the moment I first saw you at the bar that day, I liked you. Love at first sight. It might sound shallow to say it, but Lin Mo, I need you to believe me. My feelings for you aren't just a passing whim. I know for sure. From the second I saw you, definitely my type. Like I care about you. Baijiro probably found her ridiculous and annoying. She shot Guzihao a look, started to turn back, and then, completely unexpectedly, locked eyes with me while I was checking her out. She froze again. Under my slightly awkward gaze, she dumbly raised her phone to look at my photo, then lifted her head to look at my face. She did this 5 times, before it seemed to click that I was the guy in the photo. I twitched the corner of my mouth, thinking I should greet her, so I said, "Hello, Miss Bai," but before I could even finish my sentence, Baijiro shot up from the booth, grinning at me like an idiot. "Hubby, did you come to find me? Who calls someone hubby the first time they meet? Is she that forward?" My lip twitched. I didn't know how to respond for a second. Luckily, Guzihao stepped between Baijiro and me in 2 strides, blocking that gaze that felt like it wanted to devour me. "Stop shouting nonsense. Nothing's settled yet. Who's your hubby?" Guzihao quickly turned to me, shot me a look, and said, "Let's go. We shouldn't waste time here. You just got back to the country. I gotta show you a good time." I was confused. A good time? Wasn't the whole point of coming here to see Baijiro? I was puzzled. What game was Guzihao playing now? I didn't know, but I silently followed him deeper into the bar. My body, my soul, screamed that it wanted you. I really do want to marry you. I looked at her, a bit stunned. Something deep inside felt touched. I looked down and smiled. "Is this you confessing to me?" Baijiro paused for a beat, then scooted a little closer. Her fingertips lightly brushed the back of my hand, her gaze intense. "So, what about you? Can you tell me what you think?" Before I could speak, she suddenly frowned and ruffled her hair. "Don't overthink it. I'm just confessing. I'm not forcing you to accept. Just tell me your honest feelings. I really can't read you at all, so I had to ask like this. Even if you can't accept it right now, it's okay. I can chase you. I've never chased a guy before, but I think I'd be pretty good at it. Just give me a chance, okay?" She tilted her head, looking up at me from under her lashes, putting herself in a vulnerable position, pleading pitifully. Her eyes looked like a puppy's, making my heart soften involuntarily. "I do have some feelings for you, but not enough to say I'm in love yet. Since you put it like that, go ahead and chase me." Baijiro instantly beamed. "Yes, sir." Truthfully, I was lying to Baijiro. My feelings for her were strange, like a physical attraction. I didn't dislike her closeness, didn't dislike her touch. Even just thinking about her made my lips curve unconsciously. Maybe this was what she meant by love at first sight. I was about to admit it outright, but hearing her confidently say she'd be pretty good at chasing me made me curious about how she'd do it, so I'd admit it after she chased me a bit. Staying cooped up at home was boring. After clearing the air, Baijiro took me out to play all day. When the elders found out, they dropped the pretense, called to tell us not to bother coming back to the Bai house, just go wherever we wanted after hanging out. So that night, Baijiro drove me back to my apartment again. She looked at me longingly as I moved to get out of the car. "Can I come up for some water today? Think I'm thirsty again." I smiled and nodded. "Sure." The place I lived in was a birthday gift from my parents when I turned 18. Honestly, I'd lived alone there for years. Made my lips curve unconsciously. Maybe this was what she meant by love at first sight. I was about to admit it outright, but hearing her confidently say she'd be pretty good at chasing me made me curious about how she'd do it, so I'd admit it after she chased me a bit. Staying cooped up at home was boring. After clearing the air, Baijiro took me out to play all day. When the elders found out, they dropped the pretense, called to tell us not to bother coming back to the Bai house, just go wherever we wanted after hanging out. So that night, Baijiro drove me back to my apartment again. She looked at me longingly as I moved to get out of the car. "Can I come up for some water today? Think I'm thirsty again." I smiled and nodded. "Sure." The place I lived in was a birthday gift from my parents when I turned 18. Honestly, I'd lived alone there for years. Made my lips curve unconsciously. Maybe this was what she meant by love at first sight. I was about to admit it outright, but hearing her confidently say she'd be pretty good at chasing me made me curious about how she'd do it, so I'd admit it after she chased me a bit. Staying cooped up at home was boring. After clearing the air, Baijiro took me out to play all day. When the elders found out, they dropped the pretense, called to tell us not to bother coming back to the Bai house, just go wherever we wanted after hanging out. So that night, Baijiro drove me back to my apartment again. She looked at me longingly as I moved to get out of the car. "Can I come up for some water today? Think I'm thirsty again." I smiled and nodded. "Sure." The place I lived in was a birthday gift from my parents when I turned 18. Honestly, I'd lived alone there for years. Let go. Seeing her getting closer and closer, I turned my head away, despairing, and closed my eyes. The next second, the weight against me vanished. I opened opened my eyes to see Bai Jiro's back standing in front of me. Su Yurong was on the floor, clutching her mouth, a trickle of blood at the corner of her lip. Bai Jiro was breathing hard. She took 2 steps forward, bent down, grabbed Su Yurong's collar, and slammed another punch into her face. As her fist drew back for a third hit, I quickly grabbed her arm. Bai Jiro. Bai Jiro. Stop, you'll get in trouble. Bai Jiro turned to me, eyes red. You feel sorry for her? If you told me straight up you had someone else, I wouldn't have clung to you like an idiot. Lin Mo, is it fun messing with me like this? I stood frozen, knowing she'd clearly misunderstood. Let go. Seeing her getting closer and closer, I turned my head away, despairing, and closed my eyes. The next second, the weight against me vanished. I opened my eyes to see Bai Jiro's back standing in front of me. Su Yurong was on the floor, clutching her mouth, a trickle of blood at the corner of her lip. Bai Jiro was breathing hard. She took 2 steps forward, bent down, grabbed Su Yurong's collar, and slammed another punch into her face. As her fist drew back for a third hit, I quickly grabbed her arm. Bai Jiro. Bai Jiro. Stop, you'll get in trouble. Bai Jiro turned to me, eyes red. You feel sorry for her? If you told me straight up you had someone else, I wouldn't have clung to you like an idiot. Lin Mo, is it fun messing with me like this? I stood frozen, knowing she'd clearly misunderstood. Not far down the roadside, I saw Bai Jiro's car. She was sitting inside, window half down. I hurried over, wanting to explain. Getting closer, I saw her head bowed against the steering wheel, muttering to herself, "Been so long. Doesn't even come to comfort me. Just comfort me. God, I'm really crazy." I actually considered going back to find him. Considered being the other woman. So immoral. Her voice grew lower, even a bit choked. But I think I really would. I stood silently outside the car, watching her. My emotions complicated. I don't know how long passed. Seeing she still hadn't looked up, I reached out and gently tapped the window. Bai Jiro's body visibly stiffened. Then she slowly lifted her head to look at me. She swallowed hard, eyes red-rimmed. "Why aren't you at the hospital with her? Came to find me? To blame me for hitting her?" Before I could answer, she seemed to remember something, suddenly looked away, unable to meet my eyes. Her voice was hoarse, like she was struggling to hold back her emotions. Or to talk about calling off the engagement? Seeing her like this, my heart genuinely ached. I quickly reached through the open window, tugged at her sleeve, and spoke softly to soothe her. "Bai Jiro, I'm not calling off the engagement. She was drunk earlier, cornered me against the wall and wouldn't let go. I wasn't strong enough to push her away. I don't feel sorry you hit her. I just saw her half-dead state, and was afraid you'd get your hands dirty. There is someone in my heart, but it's not her. It's you. I admit it. I like you too. Don't be mad, okay?" I looked at her pitifully, shaking her arm slightly, like I was coaxing her. Bai Jiro looked up again, eyes wide with disbelief. "What did you say?" I pretended to think. "Don't be mad." Bai Jiro looked even more startled. Before that, I pretended to think again, then smiled and repeated, "I said I like you." The next second, the car door flew open. I stepped back 2 paces, and was yanked into a tight embrace. She was shaking, overwhelmed with emotion, managing to sneak a few more glances at Bai Jiro. Bai Jiro instinctively opened her mouth to say something, but when she met my eyes, she somehow choked on her breath, and stopped. She clutched her chest and looked at her friend. So, before we'd even gone far, I heard her say, "The guy the old man found really knows his stuff, huh? I think I'm falling for him? What do I do? Or do you guys believe in love at first sight? I kinda wanna marry him right now." I was speechless. I hadn't done anything. I'd just looked at her a few times. Is that really some kind of smooth move? The Bai and Lin families were similarly well off. There had been a lot more business dealings between them lately. Also, because the Bai family patriarch and the Lin family patriarch had been close friends since they were young. To strengthen the family ties, the elders clapped their hands together and settled on an engagement between Bai Jiro and me. Bai Jiro and I were the 2 people involved, yet the last to know about this engagement. Inside a private room, Guzi took a sip of his drink, looking at me with intense curiosity. "So? Satisfied with your future wife? Judging by her act, she seems pretty into you. Damn, women really are suckers for a pretty face, huh?" I chuckled and looked down. Her looks are alright. Personality seems okay too. Don't know about the rest. Guzi leaned closer. "Actually, I heard that when Bai Jiro first found out about the engagement today, she threw a huge tantrum at her dad. Said stuff like, 'Don't just dump any business marriage on me. I'm not interested. I don't care if it's the Lin family or not. I'm not marrying him. If you're so keen, marry him yourself. If I go along with this, I'm a dog." "Really?" she asked again, voice trembling with disbelief. I nodded slightly against her shoulder. "Really?" As the word left my lips, Bai Jiro lowered her head, nuzzling her face against my ear. Her warm breath sent shivers right down to my core. And then she started crying from sheer happiness. A tear traced a path down my neck. Bai Jiro's tearful voice reached my ears. I thought I was going to lose you just like that. Was almost ready to renounce the world, become a nun, even at such a touching moment." She couldn't resist joking. I laughed, amused by her. "After you left, I called you so many times. Tried to explain, you didn't answer. Texted, no reply." Bai Jiro sounded a bit embarrassed. I had it on silent. Haven't looked at my phone. Saying this, Bai Jiro loosened her hold slightly, looked down at me, her gaze tender and intense. "Lin Mo. I want to kiss you. Can I?" I lifted my hand to cup the back of her neck, pulling her closer. "Bai Jiro, don't ask for things like that. Just kiss me." Bai Jiro didn't say another word. Her ears flushed crimson as she kissed me. When the kiss ended, she held me close again. Then From now on, you're my boyfriend. My ear pressed against her chest, hearing her undisguised, thunderous heartbeat. I hugged her back, following my heart, softly replying, yeah. But actually, the boyfriend title didn't last long, cause a month later, we got married, as naturally as breathing. On the wedding day, while Guzi Hao was helping me get ready, he marveled, what kind of speed is this? Too fast for him to process. Then he brought up Suyu Rome. She probably can't show her face around you anymore, huh? Heard after she got sent to the hospital that time, her mom squeezed a ton of money out of you guys. She was so embarrassed, she just took that overseas assignment from her company. I lowered my eyes. Don't bring her up on a good day. Guzi Hao chuckled, adjusting my tie. Got it. He looked at my reflection in the mirror, genuinely impressed. Damn handsome. What a steal for Bai Jiro. I smiled without responding, thinking Bai Jiro wasn't half bad either. Marrying her was a steal for me too. The wedding day itself, Bai Jiro and I were swamped until late before finally returning to our new home together. After washing up, we both collapsed onto the marital bed. Exhausted, I rolled over, ready to sleep. The next moment, Bai Jiro pulled me into her fiery embrace. Hubby. We still have unfinished business. Her voice was laced with laughter, her breath hot against my ear, making my ear tingle. I instinctively ducked my head. Still got energy after all this? The next second, she flipped me onto my back, straddling me, questioning my stamina. I've got energy to spare for this. I burst out laughing. The night's activities truly wore me out. I regretted saying that. She had more stamina than a plowing ox, constantly proving her strength, leaving me utterly drained, oblivious to time and place. The next day, Bai Jiro bounded off to work, full of energy, while I drowsily burrowed under the covers until well past noon. At that moment, only one thought occupied my mind, that dog of a woman. I'm never running my mouth again. God, old man Bai so mad. He threatened to disown her on the spot, almost hit her, but Bai Jiro didn't seem to care at all, just dusted herself off and walked out. I only found out she'd be here tonight, after asking around, so I thought I'd bring you to check her out. Didn't expect to walk right into that little performance. Guzi Hao took another sip. I really thought your engagement was doomed. Just as he was speaking, there was a knock on the private room door. Guzi Hao put down his glass, eyes crinkling with a smile. Probably my other friends and my kittens. As several guys and girls walked into the room, I stood up with a smile. Then I'll head out. Guzi Hao tried to stop me. Not staying to hang? I shook my head. Next time. Just got back, lots of family stuff. Seeing I really wasn't interested, Guzi Hao didn't push it. Who knew that right after I stepped out of the private room, I'd see Bai Jiro standing not far away, her back turned as she looked at her phone. I instinctively walked towards her, accidentally catching sight of her phone screen, and her chat window with old man Bai. Bai Jiro had sent, woof woof. Old man Bai replied, question mark. Bai Jiro awkwardly replied, okay fine, I admit I was a bit loud earlier. I accept the arranged marriage. I'm totally willing to marry Mr. Lin. Old man Bai replied, haha, this time I couldn't hold back a laugh. Luckily, it was quiet. Bai Jiro, engrossed in explaining her sudden change of heart to her dad, didn't hear me. I pretended not to see her, silently walked past her, deliberately letting my shoulder brush her arm. Less than a second later, she grabbed my wrist. Wait, Mr. Lin. She stuffed her phone back into her pocket, bounced over eagerly. What a coincidence. Heading out already? I smiled, subtly pulling my wrist from her grasp, my tone distant. Just heading home. Bai Jiro smiled brightly. Let me give you a ride. I played it cool. No need. Wouldn't want to trouble you. I refused so quickly that Bai Jiro froze for a beat, unsure what to say next. She hesitated. Seeing me turn to leave, she quickly grabbed the hem of my jacket, almost whining. You really don't need to be so formal with me. You know we're already engaged, right? I'm basically your future wife. Why be so polite to your wife? Not necessarily. I looked up at her innocently. I heard Miss Bai wasn't keen on this arrangement. You don't have to force yourself. We can go back and explain things clearly to the elders. Bai Jiro immediately protested. Who said that? I curved my lips into a smile. When I walked into the bar, I happened to hear you discussing it with your friend. Bai Jiro pouted. But I said something after that, didn't I? I pretended to be confused, cutting her off. After that? The bar was too noisy. I couldn't hear clearly. Bai Jiro opened her mouth urgently, seemingly at a loss for how to explain. She frowned, looking very troubled. That was just me shooting my mouth off. Anyway, I'm not unwilling to accept this marriage. Mr. Lin, don't misunderstand. But right then, my phone buzzed with a message. I pretended not to hear her, looked down at my phone, and made to leave again. Alright, Miss Bai, I have things to do. I'll be going now. I'll talk to my parents about the engagement. No need to force yourself. Bai Jiro hurriedly followed. I'm not forcing myself. Not forcing myself at all. You don't need to explain anything. I'm willing. I'm really willing. Mr. Lin, please don't misunderstand. Don't break off the engagement. I'll cry if you do. I really will cry. Bai Jiro kept explaining all the way as she walked me to my car. I rolled down the window, smiled, and said goodbye. I never responded to her words. After the driver pulled away, I picked up my phone again. It showed a message Guzi Hao had just sent. Saw Bai Jiro with you. Don't get charmed by that pretty face. Don't make it too easy for her. I lowered my eyes, a faint smile touching my lips. Of course I know. Love at first sight doesn't last. last. Things that come too easy are rarely treasured. Keeping her dangling for now is kind of fun. The next day, Guzi Hao invited me out again, saying since I was finally back, some friends were clamoring to hang out. I arrived at the cafe as agreed. Turns out, Guzi Hao some friends was just Su Yurong alone. Su Yurong, my college classmate. Ex-girlfriend. I frowned at Guzi Hao. Guzi Hao spread his hands innocently. What can I do? She offered way too much cash. You two talk it out. I'm outta here. I was exasperated. People forget friends for beauty. You sell out friends for cash? But Guzi Hao didn't give me a chance to complain. Grabbed his bag and vanished without a trace. Su Yurong and I sat facing each other, staring awkwardly. The atmosphere was instantly tense. Su Yurong scratched her forehead, trying to break the ice. Lin Mo. I still like you, you know. She reached out and grabbed my hand that was stirring my coffee, gazing at me with deep affection. Let's get back together, okay? I froze, frowning as I met her eyes, remembering the reason we broke up. Mama's girl. Couldn't make a decision without my mom says. My mom says. I really couldn't stand it. I was about to pull my hand back when my phone buzzed with a message from Guzi Hao. I used the chance to retrieve my hand and open my phone. Guzi Hao, guess what I saw on my way out? Look to your right. I put my phone away, looked around confusedly under Su Yurong's gaze, then turned to the right, and there, outside the cafe window, stood Bai Jiro, wearing a dark green baseball cap, staring at me with a deeply resentful expression. I felt awkward. For some reason, this scene gave me a distinct feeling of being caught cheating. Seeing me freeze, Su Yurong's voice sounded near my ear. Who is she? Do you know her? She suddenly seemed to feel threatened and started badmouthing her unprompted. My mom says, women should act like women. That one's dressed all flashy, like those girls in red light districts. Trying to snag a rich guy doesn't look like good news at all. MOMO, you should stay away from her. I was speechless. Even at a time like this, she still remembers what mom says. Truly hasn't changed a bit. I snapped back to reality, curved my lips into a smile, and waved at Bai Jiro outside, then turned back to Su Yurong, keeping the smile as I spoke. Su Yurong, judging people by appearances. Do you think that's right? Getting back together? Sorry, I don't like you anymore. In the few seconds it took to say that, Bai Jiro had charged into the cafe and stood imposingly by our table. I looked up at her, thinking she'd demand to know who Su Yurong was. Instead, she just looked back and forth between Su Yurong and me a few times, then yanked off her green cap, plopped down next to me with a pout, pulled a wet wipe from the dispenser, grabbed the hand Su Yurong had held, and started meticulously wiping it, silent the whole time, like she was sulking or staking her claim. Seeing her act so possessively with me, Su Yurong spoke up anxiously. MOMO, she. I smiled and cut her off. Su Yurong, I think I've made myself clear. Hanging around any longer is pointless, don't you think? Su Yurong pressed her lips together, then angrily shoved her coffee cup aside, stood up, and left. Only then did I tilt my head, prop my chin on my hand, and look at Bai Jiro beside me, a teasing note in my voice. Miss Bai, my hand isn't that dirty, is it? You're gonna rub the skin off. Bai Jiro stopped wiping and mumbled. She gets Su Yurong. I get Miss Bai. No need to be so formal. She even compared that? I chuckled and pulled my hand back, sitting up straight. What should I call you to be less formal? Miss Bai. I'll change it. Bai Jiro nervously picked up the coffee cup I'd been drinking from, took a sip, and blurted out, wifey. I stared at her. She avoided my eyes, looking sheepish. Calling me wifey is the least formal. I said flatly, true, it's less formal, but a bit presumptuous, maybe. Wifey. I feigned surprise, letting the word slip out unintentionally. Bai Jiro thought I was calling her, gasped with delight, her eyes wide as she chirped, yes, then heard my next words, but that might not be appropriate. Maybe I should just call you by your name, Bai Jiro. How's that? Bai Jiro's smile instantly froze. She reverted to her resentful expression. She didn't answer me, just started fiddling with the wet wipe, asking about Su Yurong instead. That girl just now. Su Yurong, your ex? She wanted to get back together? I nodded, yeah. But I said no. Good. Bai Jiro said it, but clearly wasn't paying attention. She looked down at the wipe, staring at it intently, lost in thought. Her thoughts seemed to drift. Then I saw her lips curve into a silly smile.